Hey everyone, how's it going? You're watching Kogi Lumpur, and in today's video we're gonna do a Let's Drive. We're gonna watch how it is to drive on a typical Malaysian highway, because according to Malaysia's Transportation Minister Anthony Loke, there has been too many speeders endangering the lives of other road users on the road that he's been on a crusade to set up a whole bunch of new speed cameras across Malaysian highways and across Malaysian roads. So we're going to check out what the speeding issue is actually about over here by looking at footage of a driver driving on an actual Malaysian highway. This is a typical drive, and we'll count how many speeders there are that we can encounter in the next 20 minutes. So keep in mind that Malaysia drives on the UK side of the road, which means that the left two lanes are the slow and middle lanes respectively, and the right lane is the passing lane. And I'm not sure if you noticed over here, but we passed by one passing lane hog earlier on. That's the gray Honda City in the rearview mirror, and we passed by another passing lane hog who just passed by us right now. And it looks like the left two lanes are still pretty clear, but the right lane is the most congested. And you might be wondering why that is, and as you'll see for yourself in this entire video, it doesn't need me to explain, but I'll tell you what the reason is. People keep hogging the passing lane. They seem to think as long as they're driving under the speed limit, it's perfectly fine to be in the passing lane, in the right lane. So we've passed by 3 passing lane hogs at this point in time, including that black CRV over there, and it looks like we might be able to pass a 4th. No, he's going a little bit too fast to pass him from the slow lanes, but now we're going to pass him. We're going to pass the white CRV to bring our total lane hog count to 4. Now there's what appears to be a slowdown over here, so I don't know how many more passing lane hogs we'll encounter before we encounter our first speeder, but we're going to keep count over here. The current count stands at 4 passing lane hogs to no speeders. You can see over here from the rear view mirror and the front view that the left 2 lanes have been pretty clear compared to what the passing lane looks like. Like I said, a lot of these drivers, they're either not educated that they're not supposed to be in the passing lane if they're not trying to pass someone, or they're just entitled because, like I said, this is a thing in Malaysia, but especially in Singapore, a lot of drivers think that it's perfectly fine to be in the right lane even if they're not passing anyone, because they're driving under the speed limit, so it's legal to be there. So we just passed passing lane hog number 5 over here, passing lane hog number 6. We're approaching a Mazda and a Toyota Innova who has left a huge amount of space in front of him until the next car over here. So a lot of people like to make excuses that the reason why they're not going fast in the passing lane is because they want to leave that space in front of them as a safety precaution, which is completely true. I'm glad this Mazda knows he's not supposed to be there. Congratulations, Silver Mazda, for moving over from the passing lane. But fuck you, Toyota Innova, for continuing to hog the passing lane. So passing lane hog number 7 goes to the gray Innova. Passing lane hog number 8. Passing lane hog number 9. So a lot of these people, they think that it's perfectly fine for them to just keep staying there. Passing lane hog number 10. So it looks like we're approaching some heavy traffic over here behind a red Honda Civic, but it does look like those 2 cars in the middle lane could actually be behind that bus in the leftmost lane. They're not going much faster than the bus. In fact, I don't know if they're even going to pass that bus in the first place. And look at that left lane again. It's cleared up. the people in the middle lane, which we're not going to count by the way, because I'm not an octopus. I will need more hands to count the people hogging the middle lane. They could be in the slow lane, like we are right now, that we just used to pass passing lane hog number 11, the red Honda Civic, passing lane hog number 12, the Mitsubishi minivan SUV thing. Look at these people. Number 13, 14, 15, 16 in the black Hilux, 17. Now it looks like traffic's getting a little bit heavy over here, so I will reduce the count whenever we have a passing lane hog. When we counted 18 passes by, 19. So the count's going to go up when we pass them, and the count's going to go down when they pass us. Looks like traffic's coming to almost a standstill over there. 20 in the Singaporean Hyundai Elantra. And you might be wondering what the reason is for this random slowdown. Like, the highway doesn't have any traffic lights, 21. Or intersections, 22. So what could be the reason for a random slowdown in the middle of the highway? Maybe an accident? We'll see if there's an accident. 23, 24, 25. We'll see if there's an accident as we move forward. But there's a random slowdown across all lanes over here. I know the answer to this, but I want you to take a guess. What if it's not an accident? What causes random slowdowns like this in the middle of the highway? 24. We're back to 24 because that guy just passed us. I'm gonna go up behind him. There looks like a... Nope, we're gonna go back behind the red SUV because fuck that slow guy in the passing lane. 25. Back to 25. And screw this guy hogging the lane in his black Honda Civic as well. 26. 27. 28. It looks like traffic just cleared up magically again. And now we're back in this passing lane with this huge space over here. Can you guess what the answer is? Passing lane hogs. Look at how clear the left two lanes are now. 29. The reason why these random traffic jams appear out of nowhere in the middle of a highway, 30, is because of all these people who step on their brakes like crazy, 31, 32, because they don't know how to drive. They have poor judgment skills, that's number 1. 33. But more importantly, if you look in your rear view mirror or to the side, the passenger side is on the left in Malaysia, if you can do that safely, 34. 35, look at how clear these two left lanes are. 36. 37, look at how clear this slow lane is supposed to be. 38, 39. 40. 41. 41 passing lane hogs. 0 speeders so far. 42. 43. 44. 45. 46. Now traffic's getting a little bit on the heavy side again over here, and it looks like it's because of rain. People think that in places like America, like in California, people drive like idiots once it starts raining because, you know, it's dry most of the year. They think that it's a California exclusive feature. No, in Malaysia it rains pretty much throughout the year, and people still drive like fucking idiots when there's a few drops of rain that, you know, hitting their windshield, because like I said, they don't know how to drive. And more importantly, if you can safely look out the back window or to the side on your passenger side, you'll notice that most of the time these people are on their phones. If you can look safely to the left and right of you while on the highway, I would say 50 to 90% of the time, depending, you know, on traffic, these people are on their phones. And it's not just a Malaysian thing, it happens in Singapore as well. These people have their phones mounted on their windshield, so they think, I'm not touching my phone, I'm not texting. See? My hand is on the steering wheel. Tap, 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 tap. Next TikTok video, next TikTok video, next TikTok video. See, I'm driving. I'm not holding my phone. I'm just driving. I'm just driving. That's what they're doing. And these are the people that they don't try to catch, right? Because you actually need to get off your ass as a police officer, instead of sitting in your air-conditioned car, aiming a speed camera at cars passing you by. You actually have to go out there and do work, which a lot of these people aren't willing to do. So that's why speeders are a problem. Because to catch speeders, just have to sit in your air-conditioned car with a camera pointed straight in front of your face all the time. Munch on some donuts, or in Malaysia, some nasi lemak. That's it. Look at how clear the middle lane is over here. Look at that. 40, was it 46 or 47 lane hogs so far? 0 speeders. And look at how clear this is. Like, the only reason why we're traveling at this speed is because of these people in front. Those two other lanes there, well, they're doing what they're supposed to. Maybe not the middle lane, but now it looks like we're gonna start passing some passing lane hogs again, because we've got the chance. 47. Maybe not such a good idea to get in the slow lane when there's a on-ramp over here. Looks like we're back to 46. Yeah, we're back to 46 because the red passing lane hog over here just passed us. So people are on their phones, and that's why they keep randomly pressing on their brakes. And what happens when they keep randomly pressing on their brakes is it creates a domino effect, affecting everyone else behind them. And over time, over the stretch of road, we're back to 47. Everyone starts slowing down, 48. And that's why you have these phantom traffic jams, 49. 50, that's a Singaporean Mercedes, by the way. 51. 52. 53. Now, 54. Now it looks like we're starting to slow down again, and I want you to guess why there's a slowdown. There's no accident. Could be because of people on their phones. I think it just gave it away if you were listening close enough. Now I want you to look very closely on the left. Right now. Now look in the rear view mirror on the left. You see that black pole over there? That's one of those Awas speeding cameras that Malaysian Transportation Minister Anthony Loke is busy advocating for, because in the last 14 minutes we've passed by a grand total of 0 speeders so far. That's how dangerous and what an epidemic of speeders there are. 53, 52, because the passing lane is actually working as a passing lane right now. 52 passing lane hogs who are totally not endangering anyone on the road by being slow, and on top of that, probably on their phone. Tap, 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 tap. I'm driving. See, my hand is on the steering wheel, but I'm just looking straight, right? I'm looking straight at on the road, and I'm also looking at TikTok over here. And it's perfectly fine. And look at why traffic is slowing down over here. How is it a surprise? People don't want to be behind a bus. But the entire stretch over here on the left behind this blue and green bus has been empty the entire time. So now let's see what happens, because we've passed by 3 random slowdowns so far, including one of which caused by a speeding camera, ironically. Because what happens when there's a speed camera is that people start slowing down. And because people in both Malaysia and Singapore are such retarded drivers, they slow down anyway despite being already under the speed limit, including the people in the passing lane. So you kind of see how this creates a huge ass chain effect, because they're already going under the speed limit, they're already hogging the passing lane, and now you have a speed camera. Their automatic instinct, their brain dead instinct, 53, 54 when we pass this Mercedes CLA. Their brain dead instinct when they see a traffic speed camera is to slow down despite not being over the speed limit in the first place. And there's a lot of people like this guy in the black Hilux that we have in front who are barely going faster than the other 2 lanes, and they refuse to move over because they think that it's perfectly legal, that they're going within the speed limit, therefore they deserve to be in the passing lane. Look at how entitled this fucker is. At least the minivan in front of him moves over. And even if they do eventually move over, look at how many opportunities this guy has had to move the fuck off the passing lane. Look at this. The entire section of the highway in front of him is clear. And you don't get me started on people giving these excuses like he's just leaving the space in front for when he needs to brake. He does not need that much space at the speed that he's going, or the lack of speed, for the, you know, that's the better term, the lack of speed that he's going. And you get people like this all the time. And you wonder why traffic jams happen. You wonder why accidents always seem to happen in the passing lane. It's not because they're speeding. It's because you have a random slow fucker like this black Hilux in front of us who eventually meets another car that is slower than him, and now he decides to move over. After like what, 6 different opportunities where the middle lane has a big fat gap, now he decides to move over. 56, by the way. You have all these people who slow down randomly. Look at this gap again. Don't tell me that this is for braking distance. You do not need this braking distance when you are traveling less than 100 kilometers, 60 miles an hour. 57, by the way. So when you have these kinds of people in the passing lane, like this douchebag Subaru over here, who is about to become, I think, passing lane hog number 58, and they encounter another slower car in front of them, they're gonna brake. And what happens is that this starts a braking domino effect. And what happens when this braking domino effect breaks with this one guy who's not able to brake fast enough because he's using the passing lane as it's supposed to be used, driving to overtake other drivers, they crash into the next car. That's why so many accidents happen in the passing lane. It's not because of people speeding, it's because of all these fuckers who are hogging the lane and making it dangerous, because there's people who actually use the passing lane. We're at something like 63 by now, by the way, who are actually using the passing lane like it's intended. So when a random car is suddenly braking because a random car in front of that car decided to brake because the next car in front decided to brake, guess what happens? That guy doesn't brake in time. He crashes into those cars. And the person who caused that accident is usually far and away, multiple cars down in the passing lane, and gets away scot-free for causing the accident because he was hogging the passing lane at a speed that he wasn't supposed to. He was not supposed to be in the lane in the first place. So there we have it, the end of the video. How many speeders did we see in this 20-minute long stretch on the Malaysian highway? 0. How many passing lane hogs did we see? 64 or 65. Kind of lost count at the end there, I apologize. 64 or 65 passing lane hogs in 20 minutes. That is one passing lane hog every 20 seconds on the highway. 0 speeders. So tell me that setting up more speed cameras, more awas cameras on Malaysian highways isn't to create an additional invisible tax on the regular person for going, or often than not, a little bit over the speed limit and not being aware or conscious that there was a speed camera. And how much of that is actually having to do with catching speeders who endanger other people on the highway? That the whole ministry and media and all that propaganda on social media like to talk about. You tell me in the comments section down below now that you've seen it for yourself. That's it for today, and I hope you learned something. See you all in the next video. Goodbye.